What's going on, people? It's Mr. Dove back again with transfer gossip talk. I hope everyone's all good. It's been another stressful week with all transfer gossip, so that's why I thought come on the show today and talk about Forest and that. If you are new to the channel, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you know, and comment below, people, if there's anything that you want to talk about Forest related stuff. If like I said, if you're new, please do hit the like button and subscribe. As you know, there's been a little bit of a meltdown on Forest because there's been announced in Forest fans are not allowed to go to PSV away. So I'm a bit cheesed off. If there's any Forest fans on in the chat as well, was going to Eindhoven, are you still going? Yes or no? I don't know. I'm 50-50 about it because I go there to watch the football. I don't go there. I'm not a drinker, as everyone will know. I don't know what to do. So people in the comments, are you going to PSV just for the sake of it? I don't know. But I'm definitely going to Germany, though. I'm definitely going to Germany to see Forest against Frankfurt, I think it is. So, yeah, I am. Right, let's get the guests in. Two special guests, different guests as well. First of all, shout out to man David. How you doing, David?
Hello, mate. Thought I'd appropriately dress myself in my Australia gear rather than Forest.
Because I'm not a cricket fan in the years, and he's wearing his cricket stuff into. So you thought he'd take the biscuits today, didn't you, David?
This is more of a retro kind of Australian kind of sporting kind of jacket, really, which I think is more in line with the Socceroos and the Ange Postecoglou era, really. But I'll just say that Johnny Bairstow was definitely out. Let's just leave it at that.
David, tell everyone where you're from anyway.
So I'm from Australia. Forest tragic since the early 1980s. So yeah, I get up and watch every single Forest match that I possibly can. Currently in Sydney, and I've just worked out that I might be able to get to Nottingham for in around late August, early September. So I only worked that out last night. So I've not even looked at the fixtures yet and how to try and line that up. So maybe you can tell me off camera, Dore, how I manage the tickets, because obviously
I don't know. This mate, don't ask me because I'll get shot with it. So many people ask me for tickets, David. So we hope.
Well, it's just so much harder to get a ticket now, isn't it? So, but yeah, excited to be on the show. You'll get my vibe and energy, and I think by your transfer talk and my heading name, you will see my opinion on the key subject.
Next up, we've got Nick. How you doing, Nick?
All right, good.
Good. Are you excited for the season?
As it gets closer, I've tried to be calm in this off period, but we'll see what happens. It's not going to be like last summer anyway.
Hope not. Next up, we've got the man himself, Mark. How you doing, Mark?
I'm good, Ben. How are you, mate?
I'm not too bad. I'm just saying to everyone, I'm like, Mark just turned up. People show some love to David, Nick, and Mark, please, in the chat. I love that. There's 43 people in. Please show some love as well. Right. There's no gossip as well about Forest, but as well, Forest fans, we have a little bit of game, a little fun as well, because as you know, people follow me on Twitter. I did a survey with who was your best 3 players and your worst 3 players. So what I'm going to do, chat, and as well, I'm going to get David, Nick, and Mark as well involved as well. Let's start with who was your best 3 Nottingham Forest signings? Best 3 Nottingham Forest signings of the club, not academy, not managers, just players. Get involved, people. There's 41 people in. If you get involved, please do. Right, let's start with you, David. 3 best Nottingham Forest signings since you've been a Forest fan. Who's yours?
I certainly loved Brian Roy when he came in. I just thought that was such a terrific signing and the impact that he had. And look, when you ask me about my 3 favourite players, I will certainly go to that era. So Brian Roy's just attack and the way he kind of teamed up with Collymore in that, what was it, the 94-95 season, and how many goal assists and goals he got. And then when you're kind of watching through the World Cup and the Euro highlights and you get a glimpse of Brian Roy of kind of that yesteryear, he was just such a magnificent player. So I feel he was terrific. I also liked Jeff Thomas when we signed him, when we were clearly
Jeff Thomas,
horrible. We were a horrible team. and he just came in, and that goal that he got against Arsenal in the first match,
first game of the season,
and that one out kind of curled in the side footer. And I often try to say that myself. You kind of, because I'd seen him play for England in a match against Australia in 1990, and so I kind of knew who he was, and I thought that was a terrific signing because you thought, oh, yeah, he's a bit old now and over the hill, and then I thought he was brilliant. And then in terms of a third signing, the free transfers or just 3 signings that you thought were brilliant?
3 signings, could be anyone.
I think that the other one is Keylor Navas transformed and saved us last season. So I would say,
really?
I think Navas was the critical last season.
Didn't see that come in. People in the comments, do you agree with Dave what he thinks? Like, there's loads of signings, but I didn't see Navas going your way. Nick, who's your best 3 signings for Nottingham Forest?
Well, I was thinking about this, and it is hard because we've had some very good ones, and of course we're going to talk about the worst ones.
That's the next one, yeah.
I'd say it's an Irish theme for mine, and I would say Andy Reid. He's at the club now, and he knew what to do when he came to the club. He enveloped it's like with some of the best players. They buy into what the club is about, and so Andy Reid.
Yep.
And then, of course, there's a certain Mr. Roy Keane, who he was someone no one knew when we've signed him. He was a talent in Ireland who was getting a lot of attention, and we, in a sense, Forest pulled off a bit of a coup to sign him. He was an unknown. We bought him for a small man, sold him off in the end. And of course, I have to say, Stuart Pearce. It depends on also what era you're from as well. Because for me, I was born in. I had no choice. So I was a Forest fan from birth, in a sense, because that's how it happened. But that's what my favourite was. But there are more.
Stuart Pearce, how good was he? He was just.
Mark, who was your best 3 Nottingham Forest players?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Nick on this one. I'm a fan from a certain era, and the first game I ever went to, and it still resonates. I still can. It was at Stamford Bridge when they used to believe. But you wouldn't remember this, Ben, but there used to be a greyhound track around the outside of it. You would never believe it now. The stadium is unrecognisable. But my first game was in '85, and I saw us play Chelsea. We lost 4-2, and there was a certain Des Walker on the bench. You wouldn't believe it. He came on and played in midfield. Right?
Really?
I don't know how many Forest fans of a certain age would remember that.
I'm 90s. I'm a 90s baby, Mark. I'm a 90s
I know you
baby.
are, mate. I know you are. You're a pup. You're a young pup. I'm not. You can see that. You can see there's an age difference, yeah, an era difference. But my love for the club starts even before that. But I mean, that was when it really kicked off, and we had a really good team back then. And Desi Walker was immense, And you talk about all the centre backs we've had now, and that, we sung that song for a reason. That Des Walker song was sung for a reason. You never beat Des Walker. You never beat him. Stuart Pearce, I'll go with Nick. Stuart Pearce, you'll never have a better left back, in my opinion. You'll never. He scored one season, he scored 16 goals as a left back. 16 goals. I know he took penalties, but 16 goals for a left back is incredible. And the other player I go for is Neil Webb.
Yeah, Neil Webb.
Neil Webb doesn't get spoken about very, very much now. He's not like that. But him and Cloughie back in the day, I saw them play live. They were incredible. They were incredible players. I know it's a different era. The game's changed a lot, but and we can all go with modern players. We can all go with we know what Morgan Gibbs-White is, and we're yet to see him reach his full potential. And
he's still young. He's still young.
And it's exciting. It's exciting to see how these guys are going to turn out, and hopefully they stay with us. Please God, they stay with us, and we get to see all of it. We get to see they prosper, and they bear their fruits, and we get to see all of that, and they don't move on for silly money and stupid clubs like Brentford. You know, why would you go to Brentford, for God's sake? You know? Why would you go there?
Exactly.
That's we down with me. I don't care where they are.
We are going to talk about that. We will talk about Brentford because that's a topic.
I know, but you know,
I've got some thoughts on that bit. That's a rubbish.
Why did Neil Webb not work out later in his kind of later Forest years? He was so good in the 80s, and then when he kind of came back, what do you think happened there?
Well, I think I don't know. I think he might have had an injury or something like that. But he was in
26 caps.
He was incredible. He was an incredible footballer. Incredible.
Yeah, but, good passer.
It's boring for the likes of Dore because he's too young to remember that.
Hey, Mark! I am old, but I'm not reached your age yet. Incoming.
Well, he looks like a fan. Dore looks like a fan from the 80s, but he's a fan from the 90s.
Right, let's come on with the show, right? Because, like I said, people in the comments, who is your best free signings from Nottingham Forest? But I'm going to go through the comments as well from the start. Like I said, there's quite a lot through. Mark, I always believe has made it mind up. I want to join us, but personally, hope he gets well soon. We are going to talk about that kind of stuff throughout the show. That's why I got a brand new panel in to talk about this kind of thing. Gamer says, hi, Mr. Dore and Jet Guess. Chris says, good evening all. Big night out in PSV. Bob, are you going? Mono, are you going? Message me. I'm 50-50. People in the comments, do you want me to go Holland just for the sake of it? Because I'm not a drinker. So I don't know. So on this,
you don't have to drink. You don't have to drink.
Go for football. There's no football. You can't go on the ground. You can't go on the ground. This is what I'm just a bit cheesed off with it. More than
you can't get in.
No away fans. No away fans. What? Yeah, you've not seen it. Away fans not allowed in.
I didn't see that. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Dutch police.
Yeah,
DoreOnTour podcast still needs to tour. You just need to go and sit outside, and maybe that's
what everyone says. Give me the comments. Do you want me to go? Yes or no? I don't know. Eve, hello. How are you doing, Eve? Hello, Mr. Dore, Dave, Nick, and Mark. I hope you're well. I'm joining a couple of the same joins I uploaded last week, so I can give them to Joe Ryan and go. Yes, Eve, you keep joining, Eve. Love you, joining, Eve. Make sure everyone follows Eve on Twitter. She loves doing her drawings as well. So shout out to Eve. Chris says Pierce, Connor, and Morgan Gibbs White. Scott says, evening, gents. How you doing, Scott? Make sure everyone subscribes to Scott's channel. Scott, I can't believe this Henderson thing's going on. But let's say we are going to tell the panel about different type of players that's been talking about, because there's so much to talk about. So people, stay on to the show. We are going to talk about it. Mark says, evening, panel. How you doing, Mark? I hope you're well. Simon says, just brought the Forest pink tracksuit alert. Awesome. Keep it going with Dore. Has anyone brought the new tracksuits? I'm loving it. I think I might buy it for my birthday. So if people want to buy anything for my birthday, just please do a super chat or anything like that. As well, John Boss says, John Robbo for me, legend. Absolutely legend, John Robbo is. One of the best left wingers.
The best player ever.
Best player ever. Mark says, my best three players was me, John Robertson, Saka and Stan Collymore. Really good shout. Chris Game says, Webbo was a great shout. Simon Mills says, Stu Pearce was my hero. Long hair Yeti, big up Dore and panel. How you doing? I hope you're well. Kara says, you Reds. Michael Maxwell says, Shilton, Pearson, Collymore, Shilton. Actually, I wasn't here. I bet that was these lots. These lot, the older generation, these lot. I wasn't there, so
I'm only 43.
You're still there. You're still there.
Look, obviously, Pearce and Collymore and those ones are obvious.
What
about Andreas Alenzi, Dore?
Don't talk about that guy. The best three was Pearce, Van Hooydonk, and Walker. Another good shout out. Colin Jack says, yes, mate. Bloody hell, I think that's me go to PSV. I don't know, I'm 50-50 because I want to go to Germany as well. So I'm definitely going to Germany. And last but not least, Mohammed says, who's going to Nottingham Forest counter match? Me, I'm going. Right, before we do that, there's some news just seen on Twitter. I want to talk to the panel about as well. And let's get this up. And this is for Iheanacho. So another one said, exclusive from Santi Anora. Not as far as we've been talked to saying Iheanacho from Leicester, he's top of the list. Nottingham want to close the deal in the next few days. So people in the comments, what do you think? Do you think we should sign this player? Because I was iffy. He's only 26. And he has got Premier League experience, striker as well. He knows Taiwan very well as well. So I'm going through each panel, each one. I'm going to go for you, Mark, first. Iheanacho, yes or no to Forest?
I'll be honest with you. I don't really watch Leicester much.
Me, but the Championship football now.
Against us.
Yeah. So I don't really know much about him. I just know that he's proven he scored goals at this level. He's not prolific. I don't know much about his style, but obviously the fact that he's got a relationship with Taiwo, I don't know if that's got something to do with the fact that we're going in for him. He's obviously a bargain as well. You know, to pick up someone for that money in the silly world of football that we got now, where they get, you get silly amounts of money. I mean, have some players that have played in the Premiership, they're of a certain age and they're valued at 8 million, if that's what he's valued at, and some are valued at 55. They're not that much better. They're not that much better than him. How do you equate to that? I mean, the world of football is silly now, isn't it? If we get him for 8 million, he could be good, but then it's like anything else. You get these players in, somebody's got to make way for them, and the squad is pretty full at the moment, isn't it? They all seem to be fit. There's no one on the treatment table, so someone's got to go out the door. Who's that going to be?
That's what I'm saying. David, what do you think of Nacho? Are you a fan of him? Do you think Forest should sign him? Yes or no?
I think if he's £8 million, then we should definitely sign him. He's got proven goal scorer. I think he's local to the area from other places, so therefore he will bed down into the team faster. And I think we need to make shrewder, smarter financial decisions when it comes to the signings. And I think the 30 signings now and the failed ones like the Shelvey type purchases that were bad are now going to cost us with the financial fair play. And this one at 8 million just seems a terrific buy. And so he will pressure you to make the starting lineup, especially if we sell Johnson. So I'd probably say yes.
Nick, what do you think? Nacho, like I said, Premier League experience, 26. We need another striker as well. Do you think he's
in the FA Cup game? He scored against us.
He did.
It was a pretty good goal. This rumour started out on this obscure Nigerian Twitter account that no one had heard of, and it suddenly burst up. He is a good player. He is good. He knows the Premier League. I think that's what we need to think about. We need to stop thinking about, is he, from where he's from, if he can do a job in the Premier, he knows how to play in the Premier League. He looks like, and if the relationship with Tayo seems good, so he could be a good, and he's Nacho. Everyone calls him Nacho. I watched some Leicester content. Everyone calls him Nacho. Nacho. They don't call him Iheanacho because it's a bit of a mouthful.
Don't we have too many African players, though, for halfway through the season? And we'll have
That's the problem. That's why we've got African Nation Cups as well. And that's something the reason why I said I'm iffy about it, because if he goes, who we got? Mitch George.
They're picked as well.
Exactly. So, people in the comments, what do you think? Yes or no? Do you think Forest should sign him? Like I said, he's a good Premier League experience, 26.
If we offload Dennis, is he a trade-up?
Yeah. I still think we can get the best out of him, if I'm honest. People in the comments, what do you think? Dennis, stay at Forest, yes or no? What do you think?
I think Dennis wants to be the main man at any club, though. And I think the thing is, at the moment, that's the impression I get. I think he wants to be the main man, and I don't know if that's going to happen for him.
The problem is, I think
he's not that with us. You see him.
You
see him on the training ground. If you watch the training ground videos, you can see that he has a skill level and can just do things beyond, what you see. And he's one of those players that just kind of does nothing and then can jag you a goal from something brilliant. But he is not going to be our be-all and end-all player, unfortunately.
He wants to be. I think he's the type that would like to be a maverick, but he ain't going to be that in our team.
I think he got lost when he came in with all the new signings. it was a big signing. Then it just seemed to get lost in all the other business of what's the word? He got lost, and then he couldn't get his step up. It was other players getting it before him, and he was just bench, and he didn't seem to. But when he came on, he was good. He was good when he came on. So it was that's the best way to describe it in a sense.
Right. So people in the comments, what do you think? Do you think Dennis Iheanacho? Yes or no? Get the comments in now. Another player that just came out of the blue today. Nottingham Forest player Lodi, left back. Started really didn't start that well at start, but then he slowly got better and better and better. And again, Forest could be coming back to Forest. I'm going to go through the panel. I've done a poll. Do you want Lodi back? Yes or no? I'm going to start with you, David. There's been a link with Lodi back today. What's your opinion on him? Yes or no?
Definite yes. He was brilliant. That goal, what is that? The Carling Cup goal was terrific. Him bombing down the left-hand side. I just think he nailed that position down from all of the right and left backs that we had. He was clearly the best of them. I don't know what the figure is, though, so I haven't heard that.
19 million. Something
I think at 19.
Forest will pay 13, but Atletico Madrid want to pay 19.
Yeah, I think 19.
Figures today, so that's been
that's a bargain.
I'll take it.
That's a bargain.
That is a bargain into it. What do you think, Mark? Yes or no, Lodi?
Yeah, I mean, it's what we got. We got How many? The thing is, how many left backs do we need? I mean,
we've got Toffolo.
This guy who never played last season.
Richard.
He's back on the grass now, which is brilliant. You know, whatever the reason for that is. I don't know. I mean, I thought you always needed.
Healed. That's good to know.
I thought you always needed 2 players in every position, but maybe you need 3 now. And if that is the case,
that's the
case, then you're looking at Toffolo, him. Sorry, what's his name again?
Richards.
Richards, yeah.
And
Richards going to be any good.
And plus, we got Nicky Williams as well. Nicky Williams plays left back for Wales. Yeah.
So do you carry 5 door? You carry 2 right, 2 left, and then Nico Williams.
Yeah,
I think that's what you do.
3 each. I think it'll be 3 on the left, 3 on the right. I think they'll. And the thing about it is, with football is that we all think that, whoever your first X1 is when the season starts, we all know. Look at how the season panned out. The injuries that you get. We all think that we would like this player at right back, that player at left back. But the season is gonna take a turn at different points. Unfortunately, players are gonna get injuries. No one's gonna stay fit. Maybe we need 3 players at right back, 3 players at left back. Maybe that's how it is. You wonder how you keep these players happy, but
is that position so specialist as opposed to the kind of the forward, midfield, and centre back positions, especially with the 3 or the 5 at the back that Cooper likes to play. Therefore, we just have to have the 3 because if you get one injury to that position, which is long term, you're kind of struggling.
That's it, exactly. Yeah,
They clearly believe in. They clearly believe in Biancone though, because they're putting so much
right back.
into
Yeah, he's back.
Well, they did that. The club did that video on him, which they wouldn't do unless the media team was warned that Biancone is going to be in the team or going to get a serious amount of coverage.
He could end up being on number 1.
Channel, David.
Sorry?
Have you seen Biancone's YouTube channel?
I haven't seen his channel, no.
Go and see it. It's really good.
About his journey to Forest, the injury.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I saw that 7. So they took that clip from that. So, yeah,
he's got 5 episodes, I think. So for 4 or 5 episodes. Brilliant series he's made.
Yeah, right.
Of his journey.
He looks pretty good on the training park, I got to admit. So
I seen it. When I saw him pre-season last season, I seen him. Was against a German team. It was Berlin, and he is fast, but you've got to be like we've got how many is it 3 right backs? At Forest, have Biancone, Williams, and Serge Aurier. Now, people in the comments, let's get it. Who would want right back? We've got about 10 right backs, 20 left backs. They all come in. So, and how many centre backs we've got? We've got loads of centre backs as well. But people in the comments, what do you want? Who do you prefer? Left back, right back? We've got loads of them. The 5 minutes gone, and like I said, people get their votes in. Do you want LODI return? Yes or no? 95 says yes. 5 says no. People in the comments, what did you say in the poll? Did you say yes or no? So get your comments in now. Right, before you like it, please do hit the like button if you can, people. On 18 likes, get me to 30 likes if you can, people. Next one, Callum Hudson Odoi, Chelsea link. Good youngster. Did he play with Cooper?
In the 2017 World Cup.
Did he play?
Yeah.
Another player that Cooper knows.
He was one of the stars of that tournament.
He was. I think as well, he scored 2 against Forest, didn't it, in the FA Cup? If I do remember.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, Mark. Callum Hudson Odoi. Yes or no?
I think again, by the sounds of things, we would get a good fee for him as well. He would be a bargain because he hasn't really set the world alight. And the thing is, if Cooper's, I think he'd be worth, definitely. I think it'd be worth taking a punt on because Cooper has obviously had him at under 17. He knows everything about him. You know, obviously he must be lacking in confidence because he hasn't
as well, and injuries.
Yeah, he must be lacking in confidence. And you know, at the end of the day, if he's going to go somewhere which is going to revitalise him, which if he's been paying attention to us and seeing how we're getting on and seeing what the crowd's like, why wouldn't he want to come to us? Why wouldn't he? But let's face it, we've seen bits and pieces of him, but he hasn't set the world alight, which obviously will determine his price tag. But then that might be again another bargain for us. And the fact that he knows Cooper, he might be able to get he needs to get his career going, don't he? He's at that age where he needs to get going. And it could be a good deal for both parties.
What about you, Nick? Do you think you want him? Because we need wingers. We do need wingers. Because who's a winger? We've got John O, who's a winger. Dennis, and you can class him as a winger as well.
Can play wing.
We've got 2 wingers. So we need.
Who? Scarpa can't really play out wide, can he?
He's not.
No.
You know what? And that's another topic that we are going to talk about later on because if he's been linked with the move away, but that's something that later on the show we will talk about because there's loads of players I want to talk about. Like we've got a new panel and people in the chat as well. We are going to talk about loads, so please don't go. Just carry on watching this show if you can, please. Carry on, Nick.
The Callum Hudson Odoi has got a good reputation in a sense of being a young talent from the Cooper days when at England. It started out with we'd have to pay a fee for him. It's now been reported that Chelsea may cancel his contract and he's up for a free move. So if that happens, we get him on if we can get him a free. But I've seen so many other on YouTube, like D at Crystal Palace. He's saying, he's told everyone he wants to come to Crystal Palace. Then I've heard it somewhere else. But I think Cooper may have a pull on him because of their history. Like in a sense, Morgan gives right. That was a draw really for Morgan because he wanted to work with Cooper. Hopefully that's the same with Callum. He had a poor spell in Germany last season. It didn't work out. There was no right connection there when he went to, was it from the German team he went to last year?
Leverkusen?
Yeah, Leverkusen. It just didn't work out for him. I think he needs to get away from Chelsea. And hopefully he'll be at Forest.
People in the comments, what do you think? People in the comments, what do you think about Callum Hudson Odoi? Yes or no? I'm a big fan of him. But David, what do you think? Yes or no? Do we need wingers? Because you need to remember, Steve Cooper doesn't play wingers. And do we need him?
Maybe we should play wingers, Dor.
Maybe we should do as well.
Maybe.
Because like I said, if we do play wingers, we play John O, we play, I don't know, Dennis.
Cooper's adaptable.
What do you think, David?
Well, so if you think about the last 5 matches and the kind of strategy and the setup that we had, that has a ceiling of how high that sort of play can get you. So I think to the point of, having wingers, if you can play a more expansive, progressive style of football that's holding the ball, then you need some wingers. Back to the question that was, do we want Hudson Odoi? I think, again, right price. And if you believe, I think there are potential confidence and just personality issues that player might have. And so, but I would back Cooper. If Cooper thinks he can get the best out of him, then we're going to get the best out of him. Then we have a more intricate knowledge of that player. And so it's proven that when we know more about the players and Cooper knows them, then they perform better. So I'd probably be banking on Cooper's opinion. If Cooper wants him, get him and get a deal.
100%.
That's, I think, the answer.
No players really dropped off under Cooper, have they? They've improved most of them last season, didn't they?
Well, Jesse Lingard improved, didn't he?
Just a tad.
Well, that was unfortunate with his injuries, really.
He did get a bit done by the injuries, didn't he? Actually,
He came with an injury, actually.
He come late.
But I think that signing...
Me personally, he come late. He come late to Forest, and he didn't get a good pre-season. That's my opinion.
Well, he was
especially if you don't have a club.
On his Achilles problem. That's because I watched the documentary he did and stuff. So his Achilles was his Achilles in a sense.
I'm going to go for the comment, and this is about Hudson Odoi. This is from Mark. If Chelsea cancels his contract and he becomes valuable and is free, it will make it hard for us to get him, as he would face more competition. I know teams like Fulham, Crystal Palace, quite a few teams are chasing him. So these London clubs, and he is from London as well.
Except we don't have wingers, Dor. So if we don't have wingers, then that would make us more appealing. Because then,
not sure he was a wing. He played a bit differently, younger. He wasn't always a total winger. It's how different coaches try different things on players. So we might be able to just mould him a bit better. Cooper knows what he's doing.
I know.
I would say trust in Cooper.
I say if he comes to Forest, I think we need a winger. Because like I said, we can't rely on Johnson. Des form's been in and out. Hudson Odoi, he's got, like I said, I want people who's got a young Premier League experience at Nottingham Forest, not that Man City winger who's linked with, who has not got no league experience. If he was at Championship, right now, he has got no experience in football.
He's in a sense, he's in the same camp as like Cole Porter and what's the other one who went to Sheffield United?
What's his name? I know you're talking about.
They're very highly regarded at Man City. That's the thing. So if
they need Premier League experience. People in the comments, what do you think? Is it Borja from Man City? Do you want him? Yes or no? I don't think for me it's not.
And look, remember, Felipe had no experience of the Premier League and came and just smashed it, really, didn't he?
But he's got experience. But he's got experience. But he's got experience in Spain.
And he's got a new haircut again. He's changed his
haircut. He's got a new haircut. He looks like Mark. He looks like Mark.
Felipe's just there to help us sell T-shirts and stuff in the gift shop.
You see the video? He just was starving in that video. You know, the back to pre-season back.
Poor old Ryan Yates doesn't get much of a look in now that we've got Felipe.
It's sad about Yates unit. Doesn't get a look in at all. Next one, we can talk about a goalkeeper wise, and like I said, this has been dragging on.
Man United were shambles.
And I think it was on an Instagram clip today. Took a picture of Dean Henderson, and this is the dragon. Let me just explain to people how this is sorting out. Some people I see on Twitter saying, "Forest sort it out, Forest sorting out, Forest sorting out." Let me explain to you why. The reason Man U are not going to sell him straight away because Man U technically haven't got a goalkeeper. They've got Tom Heaton. They haven't got De Gea. He's gone. So they're waiting on getting the Inter Milan goalkeeper. So when they've got him, we've got Dean Henderson. That's how it is. And I see people tweeting about, come on, why is Man U not releasing him? Because they've not got a goalkeeper. So
it looks like they are moving closer to Iheanacho.
They are very close. I think they've agreed a deal.
They've both agreed that it's the club that. So
football fans, just chill on social media. He is coming. It just takes time.
And it'll be cheaper.
Exactly. That's what I want to talk about. Last year, David, like Dean Henderson. Right, we're all happy he's coming to Forest. But David, what faults do you think he needs to learn from last season? Because me watching him live, still needs to sort out his kicking because it wasn't great. But Dave, what does he need to learn if he does come back to Forest?
Well, the distribution is important. Like if you're if you're going to have a world-class team, there's a reason why Manchester United dumped Mark Bosnich for Barthez. Barthez was not a better shot stopper than Bosnich, but Barthez could kick the ball so much better. But it's not like you can just suddenly click your fingers and Dean Henderson can just, build up his quads and then suddenly kick the ball further or be a more skillful player. So I like Dean Henderson for us because he just knows the system and he seems to be bought in. Like the guy was turning up injured to watch the team play and, was walking around with his crutches. So in terms of buying into that system and all that, and I think he would just be a shrewd purchase for us. So, if you think about all the purchases we've got so far, all of them seem to be better deals, and none of them you seem to be going, we've had our pants pulled down here. There's no Chris Wood sale in any of the last three that we've mentioned. And if we can get Hendo for 20 million, like you look at, I think the top keepers go for about 28, 30 million pounds. So at 20 million, where he sits compared to the other ones, at 15, I think he's potentially as good as any of the other keepers. He's not as good as Navas, but he's solid.
Sorry, Dave, but I don't know if anyone's seen Navas on his Instagram. He put a picture up of him playing for Forest, and he can't wait to be back playing again. So I think everyone's assuming he's put a cryptic message in to come back to Forest. He's not coming back to Forest, people. No. He's not coming back. So people,
he's not.
Let's dead that in the water.
That's dead in the water.
I've seen, is it Aaron? Aaron's put Navas. He's not coming back.
He bought in as well, didn't he? Navas did buy in. That's what the players who did well last season, the ones who bought in.
But Navas is a world-class keeper. And so
I think he understood what Nottingham Forest was. That was important because sometimes you've had players come in who they're a bit of a...
He was a mature head. He played in World Cups and he wanted a stint in the Premier League and Nottingham Forest gave us that and he will always be adored by a whole bunch of fans, especially me. God, I thought he was
about
the best.
Dean Henderson?
I loved him. He was so good.
The reason I think Dean Henderson struggled at the start, he hadn't any game time. And the more game time he got, his kicking was a bit off, but he was a very good in-between the sticks goalkeeper. That was, if you look, they did the best saves, and he got a few of his best saves into those videos and stuff. So he was doing well. It was just his game time that was lacking. And as the more game time he got until his injury, he was starting to smooth out those rough bits, which was good, I have to say, last season.
Michael, you find Dean Henderson, and do you want him back at Forest?
Yeah, I'd like him back, but this is going to be a bit controversial now. But I mean, if I know what the guys are saying, I understand that. But for me, if I had a choice, I'd have Brice Samba.
Samba.
I'd have Brice Samba. I know he's had a great season, but the thing is, his kicking is immense, and it would have been something else to have him, especially the way we had to play last season.
League I know that's goal of the season.
Sorry?
He's League One goal of the year of the goalkeeper of the season.
I'm sure, and he's broke into the French team, and fair play to him.
And he's number 2 at the French team.
He's gone, but, kicking, the thing is, back in the day, goalkeepers just had to save, they had to be big and strong. They got elbowed and everything else, and they had to make saves. Goalkeepers, one thing I realised a few years ago, I was just standing there watching a live game, and I'm going back 10, 15 years now, and you looked at the goalkeepers, and they're slim, their builds are totally different to what they used to be. The role of a goalkeeper has totally changed over the years, and the kicking bit is very important.
Critical.
It's critical. The kicking thing is critical. And Hendo's not great at kicking, but look, at the end of the day, he's a great shot stopper. He commands his area. He's great at shithousery. He's brilliant at that. He could play for the Australian cricket team. He's brilliant. He's brilliant
win it. All I'll say is just win at all costs, Mark. And if we survive, that's fair enough. Look, if we survive by a tie-away or one-way goal, when the Arsenal guy kicks it into his leg and goes in, or we get a free kick outside the box and we score, both count for one. And they count exactly the same. I'll take any goal by any means. But
but the best of what we got now, even if Navas is available, I'd take Hendo over Navas. But what Man United are doing, I don't know. Do you know one thing that's interesting about all of this is that if De Gea wasn't going, Hendo was staying, and Tom Heaton is staying, or whatever his name is. Tom Heaton.
Yeah, Tom
if he
Heaton.
stays, who would be their number two? Who would be the number two? Because at the end of the day, you might say
they are linked with
Hendo. Sorry,
they are linked with a Japan goalkeeper for the backup. Yeah,
a 20-year-old Japanese goalkeeper.
Yeah. I don't get that. I don't get why they're doing that. But
how good is the kid? How good is the Shelvey kid in goals?
George Shelvey. Shout out George. He followed me on social media.
He's a prospect. He could really.
He's a prospect, but I think he needs to go out and learn. League One Championship. Lower Championship. George, I think with George, I spoke to him a few times, and he's a top guy. And for me,
if you think that George Shelvey is going to come good as the long-term Nottingham Forest goalkeeper, then an older goalkeeper who's not as expensive on the transfer market, because Hendo, we could have him as the keeper for 6 years.
Yeah.
So the point of buying him is to have him as the keeper.
No,
he's not old. So he could be the keeper for quite a long time. And so then what happens to George Shelvey? So I guess we're selling him on, but we won't get as much value for him.
He signed a contract at the end of last season.
Yeah, he signed an extension.
Yeah, but we're selling him on 2 to 3 seasons is what I'm saying. And so then you get the value out of that eventually, maybe.
Maybe because what do you think about George Shelvey? I think he's a good young goalkeeper. I think, like me personally, I think he needs game time to give us the experience, because I think with Ethan Halbarth wasn't good enough for Premier League, but now look what he did for Luton. goes to Luton and goes up to Premier League. So you never know.
Why does Luton not want Halbarth?
20-odd clean sheets.
Weird, but
I don't think they can afford him. I think it's cost. It may be.
The thing is, Horvath is coming back, isn't he? Horvath is coming back. He's not going anywhere else. So the thing about Shelvey, what I could see happening there is it becomes, if we get Hendo, it becomes Hendo's number one. Hennessy's number. Is Hennessy still with us?
Yes.
Yes.
Hennessy's still with us. And Hennessy becomes the number 3. Horvath becomes the number 2, I guess. And Shelvey goes out on loan, because you can't. If we had some horrendous goalkeeping issue, you can't all of a sudden bring Shelvey into the Premier League. He has to go and get experience somewhere. So you can't have him as your number 3. So even Horvath hasn't got a Premiership experience, but at least he's been part of the American, setup. And
he's number 2 in America.
He's number 2. He's number 2. Yeah. But like I said, gain experience. That's what we need with these young players. Gaining so much experience, like with George Shelvey, go to a championship team, gain good experience with a low championship team, play football. That's what our young team do.
Are we prepared to send some of our players across the Trent to the Notts County?
No.
Oh, we can sell them out.
No, the reason because like I said, I've got no problem with Notts County, but I don't know.
We shouldn't have a problem with Notts County. We should. That's not a bad idea, Nick. That's quite.
No, I'm not saying we have a problem. But it's just. I don't know.
Remember, Fawaz destroyed the relationship between Notts County and
who?
The F word.
Who?
The F word.
Nick, stop swearing on this chat.
The fridge magnet. The fridge magnet.
Fridge magnet. Yeah.
Fridge magnet.
Let's cut that chat. I don't want to talk about Fawaz. He's people. There's come on, get the likes up, people. I've got like 28 likes. There's 66 people in. If you can do massive vision, please do hit the like button. Please do hit the like button. It helps us show a lot as well. And on the top of the link, I've done a fancy Premier League. So if you want to get involved, people, click on the top link on the Fantasy Football League. Get involved, do your team, and make a name up. Mine's Ballador. So if you want to get involved, people, top of the link, press it and get involved. Right, like I said, it's a brand new panel, people. Like to please show some love to David, Nick, and Mark if you can. Right, another one, and you might have seen this in the chat, people. And it keeps coming with Brennan Johnson. People say he needs one more season. People say if we get that amount, he should go. Let me start with you, David. what's your thoughts on the whole Brennan thing?
Well, I think my subject heading might give away what my opinion is. So at £50 million, obviously, Brendan Johnson is my favourite Forest player right now because Navas left. And, there is, and there's something to be said as an international fan. One of the frustrations with following the teams is you don't seem to have players for a long time. And they kind of go in and go out. And when you kind of wake up, you kind of can't follow the squad players. So Brennan Johnson is kind of an iconic Forest player. And you think of the last 2 seasons, and certainly the promotion season, he is kind of the player first and foremost. So letting him go is a very considered decision. But at £50 million, you could get Taiwo Awoniyi and Morgan Gibbs-White for that amount of money. So would you trade Brennan Johnson for Taiwo and Morgan Gibbs-White? And the answer is almost certainly yes.
Yes.
At the £50 million. And so then when you think about, the decision is selling Brennan Johnson going to progress our ambitions to be a regular Premier League club that is safe? Or does keeping him make us safer? And I'm just not sure in the last 6 games of the season that we missed him. And so he's not that much of, he kind of came on for the last 15 minutes. Sure, he got some goals at the start of the season. But I don't think we missed him that much. Sorry, what was that, Nick?
That's a good point.
Cooper, pulling him out a bit because there was a bit of
The thing with Dave's got that's a fantastic point from David as well. And I get it. Like I said, he didn't play much at the end. But at the same time, there was so much pressure on him. And that's my opinion.
Well,
there's so much pressure. Because when people are going to look at it, right, Brennan saved us in some games. Like Leicester game, Everton game, and quite a lot of games. He saved us. And if it wasn't for Brennan's goals, we'd be in the Championship with Leicester.
But someone else would have been playing in that position, Dor.
Yeah, but
and
like who, David? Who? That's
true.
If Taiwo Awoniyi wasn't, if Brendan Johnson wasn't playing, and Taiwo Awoniyi was injured, who do you think would have placed him? Now we've got Sturridge. He wasn't playing. Dennis. But Dennis was in and out. Ayuk. Now he's not a Forest player. He was crap. I'm not saying that. He was crap. But my opinion again with Brennan. Let me ask you, Mark. We've got, and that's a valid point from David. People in the comments as well, get involved as well. I love to see your comments. Mark, what's your thoughts on Brennan?
Do you know what? I think for some of our young lads, the young academy players that come through with flying colours really for the whole season because they had to. Yates, Worrell came through at the end, and Brennan. We love them to bits. But I think with Brennan, I might get corrected on this, but I don't know if, when we signed Dennis, I don't know if Dennis was intended to be first choice in his position, and Brennan was to be brought through. I know we saw it differently, and it didn't pan out that way, but I don't know if that was maybe the inkling, and Brennan was brought through quicker than he had to be. Brennan Johnson, I've watched him live, as we all have. Maybe not David, but I mean, I've watched him live. And me and my son have sat there and watched him and thought, you know what? He plays on the shoulder of the fullback. He doesn't seem to get involved so much. We know he doesn't. He's not there to defend. We know what he does. We know he plays in moments. And when you don't have many moments in a game and he plays in moments, he is the difference. He's the difference. And the way we play him and what he did for us, at the end, it wasn't about him. But that's what squads are about. We needed someone to put the ball in the net at the end, and Taiwo stepped up. In different moments of the season, different players have stepped up. Yatesy had his purple patch. We had all that. Luckily, it got us over the line. And Brennan, I love Brennan to bits, but Brennan is a moments player. He's not somebody that's going to be involved in the game for, 60% of the time. He will be involved in certain moments, and we've seen it, how, them moments we remember, but when you watch him live, you see, he's a little bit inactive. He's been accused of being lazy. I never accused him of that. But, you look at him and you get a bit disappointed. But certain players I've got certain jobs to do. Cooper's always been patient. He knows what these players that he trusts will give him at certain times of certain games. And he's always trusted Brennan, always believed in him, and he's always backed him. And, Brennan, you're dead right. Brennan scored, 8, 9 goals? If you don't have them goals, somebody else has to score them. And it's the difference. He could have been the difference. I know Taiwo did what he did at the end. But, the same thing with Taiwo. If he doesn't score his goals, we could be looking at, the championship this season. But,
do you think Brennan wants to stay? That's my other question. Is Brennan wants to stay?
Of course he does. Yeah.
Oh, you sure?
David,
I think he does actually. I think
100%.
there's
David, yes.
I think if he stays for us, he gets to flourish for another season. The other thing as well is, guys, is that, these lads that we didn't know if, Yates is another one, prime example, Worrell, who people were doubting him, and, I got offered out, went to the Tottenham game, and somebody wanted to meet me to have a fight with me because I was backing Worrell, because I always back my players. I always back him, and he was doubting him and saying he's useless, he's a cart horse, and all the rest of it. And look at his mentality that he's come through the other side. He's come through the other side, and they've all flourished. And we need to see them for another 1 or 2 seasons in a Forest shirt to see what they can actually become. And I think at that point, it would be time for them to move on. But we haven't seen enough of them at this level. And let's see them for another 1 or 2 seasons in a Forest shirt. We don't want them to go anywhere. And they know the club inside out. They know the fans. The fans love them. They sing the songs about them. And they don't want to go. They don't need to go anywhere for the time being. There's plenty of time on their sides, Especially, and more importantly, we're talking about Brennan, and he doesn't need to go anywhere. He's settled in Nottingham. Why would you want to up sticks and go? The thing is, if he has a good season for Forest next season, a better season, or even the season after that, he gets a better move than Brentford. For God's sake,
100%.
Brentford's no good. Brentford is.
I don't. Why would he go? Why would he go to?
Why would he go to Brentford?
Good is that?
That does him no good.
That story.
Wait, let me say something. Right, let me say something. And I said I don't want him to go to Brentford, but you've got to look at it. We're here. Brentford's above us because of where did they finish? Did they finish in the mid-table?
10th.
Yeah.
I'm far as we're big in Brentford. Let me say to people, don't get it twisted. I don't want him to go to Brentford because he's better than that. So don't get it twisted, people. I know what people are like out there. I don't want him to Brentford, but at the same
Brentford
time,
have a ceiling, Ben. Brentford have a ceiling. They don't.
Brentford have a ceiling.
They don't. They're not going to get. The way the thing is about Iheanacho. The thing is with football now, right? Is that in the Premier League, when you get into the Premier League, look at the 2 teams. Look at 2 of the. I don't even know what Burnley's intentions are. I don't think they've bought anyone. But you look at Luton and you look at Sheffield United. They're not intended to spend any money. What they want to do is they're hoping that they can hit that 4th from bottom spot and stay in the league and take the money and trusting the players and all the rest of it, because they don't want to get caught in this spending too much money business. And that's their sole intention. The one thing Marinakis for us is that he has, as owners have different intentions. His intentions are us. He wants us to be in Europe. He wants us to get into Europe. He wants us to push that, and we have the ability with the right people in place and the right players. Cooper being obviously one of them. And let's not forget something. That is massive this week. Stephen Reid coming back. Massive.
So about that, people in the comments. What do you think about Steve Reid?
The best signing.
Best signing so far. People in the comments.
All the signings are off the field.
People in the comments. Steve Reid is back. Put a thumbs up for it if you are happy. Steve Reid is back. So
what about the financial fair play? What about the financial fair play and the amount of money and the incomings? Like, is it that's my other thing. Like, if I can justify it and understand it if they sell him. I don't want them to sell him, but I can understand above 50, 60.
And that's the main point. And let me make it short and sweet. Because we spent 150 million last year. I think it was Nick Randall said in his first question talk. He said we are okay in the FFP, but we've got to remember if Forest do spend I don't know, 50 million, 60 million. Maybe we've got to sell Brennan. That's the kind of thing we've got to be careful.
But Ben, if we got 170, if we supposedly got 170 because we went up for the playoffs last season, this season, what have we got this season? What have we got? 130, 140?
Yeah.
So that's 300 million.
120 has been mentioned, but I don't think we're going to spend that.
So but we got 300 million, right? This season and last season, we got 300 million. We spent, say, it's supposedly 150 last season. We're not going to spend anywhere near that this season.
No.
So if you put the two seasons together and what we actually spent last season, it's a little bit irrelevant. I think it would have been relevant
compared to some clubs.
It would have been relevant. It would have been relevant if we'd have gone down. If we'd have gone down, it would have been relevant. The fact that we haven't gone down and we've got that money now, and then we've obviously still got parachute payments the next season. The fact that we're not going to go and spend 150 million this year it balances it all out a little bit for the FFP. I see it that way anyway.
If it balances, we keep him.
We also got our positional money for the position finishing money, which was about 100 and can't remember, between 110 and 120 million, I think, for finishing 16th.
Was it that?
Help.
Was it that?
Yeah.
I thought it was less than that.
No, we got about that. Each position is worth a bit less and stuff. It's between 100 and.
I don't know. How much do we get? I'm sure it was less than that.
Man City got 600 million.
I thought the Palace goal going in against us in the position we dropped cost us a couple of million pounds.
It did. It cost us a little bit. It cost a few million. This from AD. FFP said clubs must spend 7% of club income. So that's what I'm trying to say. My part with Brennan, like I said, we've got to be careful because, like David said, he didn't play the last 6 games, but he's an important player for us. So I don't know. At least I want Brennan to stay at least one season with us and play one good season. Because if he plays one good season for us, maybe a top 6, maybe I don't know. Maybe a broad team will go for him.
The thing is, right, regarding money, right, and what's to be spent, what's going to be spent this season. The other thing as well is how many players do we actually need? How many players do we actually? We know we need a goalkeeper. Wait. People in
the comments, how many players do we need? Because we are time's running out. But what time?
25.
25. People in the comments, how many players do we need in each position? I think we need about five players. We need.
It's about that.
Let me before we go, Nick. How many players do we need in position?
Well, if you listen to
we'll get in the comments as well.
If you listen to what the club said last year, it's going to be modest, and I would expect it could be as probably 3 or 4. It could be that we need quality over quantity, because we don't need to do a mass overhaul this time round because we've got a core of players and they all seem to get on. We've even got players coming back as well. They're on loan who've come back. Some may go, but I don't think it's going to be a mass. I think we released 12 players in total, 6 first teamers and 6 fringe academy players. So I don't think there'll be any more major departures. I think, as I said, 3 to 4 will be probably the most I'll see.
Mark, how many players do you think we need?
Could be as little as 3. Could be as little as 3. I think we need some sort of maybe a holding midfield player.
Adams?
Maybe him. Yeah, he'd be good. He'd be really good. Maybe the likes of Hudson Odoi, and a goalkeeper. Mate, it could be as little as that. Oh, and Iheanacho, if Iheanacho comes, so maybe that's the 4. But I think I can't see us needing any more than 4. You know.
100%. Last but not least, David.
4 to 5 is the number. I think any more than that upsets the balance of the squad. And I think the guys in the comments have got it right. We need a goalkeeper.
Definitely. I've just seen a comment. Before we do go, I've seen a comment, and this is from AD. I'm a United fan. Whilst Forest need Dean Henderson, he doesn't modern. He's not a modern goalkeeper. He's not good for Forest. When we saw the FFP rules, by the way, they want to pay up 20 to 30 million. I think he's good goalkeeper for us. He's a young goalkeeper, 20 to 26. So that's the question. I think he's good enough for Forest. I think we need a goalkeeper. We need a goalkeeper. Then that's number one subject is a goalkeeper for Forest.
He also when he was playing, that actually coincided with our best period. He was when we had him in goal. That was one of our best periods, and then obviously he got injured and that fell away. But I mean, it did coincide with that. He was, for whatever reason, it coincided with our best period. Whether I guess that would have continued had he stayed fit. But
well, hopefully the goalie doesn't have to do anything. So the best period can be when Dean Henderson doesn't touch the ball.
Yeah, we might be a few years off that.
Maybe a little bit.
It is. But before we go, I'll go around the panel about two certain players. That's you, Nick. John Doe, Shelvey. Yes, get rid of him.
It came with promise, but it has gone sour. And if we can get rid of him,
you're being too nice, Nick. You're being too nice.
I've decided to be a bit more. Someone just called me a secret Derby fan in the chat. I don't know how they can say that. I don't like that.
Who's that? Chris talks nonsense. No, why is it Chris? Why is he secret Forest? No, that's gibberish.
I hate that club down the black hole.
No,
but I think
Nick, just remember, this is Premier League talk. They're League One.
I want him gone. I think now it came with premise, but he's gone sour.
Mark, turn yourself in.
Shelvey.
Yeah,
just Shelvey. Do you know what? The only thing I would say on this, right, is that last season, obviously, a lot of fans are saying, "Oh, I don't like Freuler, don't like Shelvey." I know it sounds a bit boring, but I trust in Cooper's decision on all of this. If he thinks he's going to give Shelvey a second wind, and he's going to come in and he's going to work hard and he's going to have the right attitude, I'd be happy for him to prove us wrong. It's happened in the past. It's happened in the past. It's happened in the past. We've seen players that you write off and they come back and they do something like that.
That's true.
And I'm not contradicting what Nick's saying, but I heard it so much last season about excuse me. I heard it so many times last season about so many players like Freuler this and that. I trust Cooper's decision. And at the end of the day, he was the guy that got us over the line, come what may, as tough as it was. And all we ever said was, they're learning on the job. All I ever thought was they're learning on the job. How can you expect Cooper and everybody and all these other players that were struggling at certain times? I mean, I'm not talking about Shelvey now, I'm talking about other players. But how can you expect them to all of a sudden be Premiership quality players? And Shelvey's done that. Shelvey come in probably at wrong time for him. Whatever his reason is, they'd have had many conversations. And, at the end of the day, I don't know what actually happened. I don't know if the rumour about what he was meant to have done was true to one of the coaching staff. And if it was, I mean, he was on the grass the other day and training with them all.
You ever seen that?
But he wasn't featured for very long. He was.
There was more footage than it looked.
He was training, but it's not like they put the camera on him and they were showing him, not like they did.
I think those players, and before we go, there was three players. There was John J. Shelvey, there was the is he South Korean? I think it was.
Yeah. He was there.
And there was a bowler as well. Josh Bowler was there as well. So you never know, people. They might come back for a second chance at Forest. We never know. But maybe.
We've got Lewis O'Brien, of course, as well.
Lewis O'Brien as well.
Well, Lewis O'Brien's quality.
That's a different show. That's a different show, David. That's a different show. Right, people, it's been a fantastic show. Thank you very much.
I'll just say on John Joe, get rid of him. As soon as he came in, just we're losing the money. The businessman in me says play him for a few matches and try and change the narrative around him.
We'll see what happens in pre-season, I'd say.
Maybe change the narrative on him in pre-season, but he just was so bad for Cooper. And if I was Cooper, I'd be getting him out. And ironically, Shelvey would be the player who would benefit most from a manager change at Nottingham Forest.
100%.
If there was a manager change, he would be back in the starting team with the new manager. Ironically
What happened
enough.
between the West Ham game, where he was the best player till he came off, and that Villa game? Remember,
Nick, did you see I think what game was it? It was the Everton game. He gave that penalty away.
Yeah.
And that pass. The pass to stop me. That pass.
Yeah.
People in the comments.
But even just how he did the pass and then didn't accept responsibility for
He
it.
blamed. Who did he blame?
He was like, what are you
everyone
doing?
else.
He should have. Like, if he's like, no, what have I done? Then you can kind of. But
he blames someone else. He blames someone else for it. That's why.
Yeah,
My opinion on Shelvey.
Get rid of him.
Get rid of him.
Get rid of him.
I'm not. Like I said, with me, right? And people say, "Oh, I'm a happy clapper," and all that BS nonsense. But when you're a Forest player, when you wear the badge, I always want every player to do well. But there's times where they're not good enough, and you do errors, and you hear things in the background. I want
the trouble is though, if he steps out in pre-season and he looks really good, and then in the first game of the season, the first game of the season, he's on the pitch. It's no good fans going, "Oh, what's he out there for?" Because again, at the end of the day, I trust Cooper's judgment. I trust Cooper. Cooper's the man who picks the team with his coaching staff. So if they think he's going to give us something, I know what you're saying. I understand it. You know, I was mortified like anybody else when he done what he done against Villa. But I trust Cooper, and if Cooper thinks that in pre-season he has got something, he's got some X factor that we'd be looking for. Because the thing is, right, we don't know. We played a certain way last season. We ain't got a clue what he's going to do this season. We don't know if we're going to play the same. Look, no fan is going to want to see the way we played with 30%, 35% possession maximum. Fans want more. We want to see the ball. We want to see the ball more next season. But what is
I want to win, Mark.
Plans? What's Cooper's
I'm happy
plan?
to play. I'm happy to
I
play.
don't mind if it's one goal. I win.
I want to win.
Before we go, there's a fantastic question from Scott. And as I said, people have their own opinion on what this. And like I said, I think it's Brennan Johnson cost us goals for not scoring the ball, but got defended all season by SC. Think Cooper should defend JJ Esther as well. That is a valid point as well. But you never know. We're going to see what happens in pre-season. We might keep him, might not. We never know. Right. It's been a pleasure for the boys. Thank you very much to David, Nick, and Mark. It's been a pleasure. Mark, people say some love to everyone in the chat. If you are watching this and repeat, please put your watch. If you've got any agree, disagree for what we said, please in the comment section get involved. There'll be more shows happening. Like I said, I'm going to Notts County next week. PSV, I don't think I'll go because I want to go to the football. I'm not a drinker, so I'm 50-50, but I'm definitely going to Frankfurt. Definitely going 100% go Frankfurt away. So if you are going, message me, email me over there. But it's been a pleasure. Like I said, before you do go, if you are new to my channel, please do hit the like button if you can. Subscribe to the channel as well. I think I'm so close to, where am I going?
We are close. We're a community here on Door.
Yeah, we're community. I'm on 11,500. I'm 9 away to 11,600. So if you can, do a massive favor for me, please do hit the subscribe button. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you everyone for taking part, and I'll see you soon for the next podcast. Peace and love. Up the Reds.
You Reds.
Come on.